Good afternoon, peace and grace, and thank you for joining me once again. I'm Rochelle Wilson, the founder and CEO of the Make Some Intelligent Noise Justice Movement. So glad to be in your presence once again, working in collaboration with CCC TV and broadcasting to you from the Red Room studios of Mr. James Bailey. If you're a young artist or you're someone you think you've got some talent and you want to put it on a label, right? Like record it, then you need to get in touch with James Bailey from the Red Room Studios. Today we have a fascinating guest for you today. Many of us know him and love him on so many various levels, but we've got to talk about what is happening to our young people, particularly in this city, but all across the nation with gun violence. Why are our children, where are they getting the guns from, and why are they killing each other? So I'd like you to welcome to the stage with me today, ladies and gentlemen, your friend and mine, none other than Mr. Derek Johnson, affectionately referred to as Pastor D. Yeah. Pastor D, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Rochelle.
Yes.
Thank you, sister.
Yes, absolutely.
This is an honor and a privilege, simply because knowing you for so many years in the work that you've been involved in and seeing you in the culture. I know why the smile is bright.
Well, one of the things that I've come to realize, Pastor D, is that we as Black and brown and golden people, we must take control of our own media journalism. We must take care to give proper and truthful, accountable information that hasn't been watered down by other folks in other places, right, for other purposes. Yeah. So that's what we do.
Thank God for your journey in that respect. I watched as you garnered the necessary mentorship. I don't think we in Wilmington, we've lost something when it comes to Black journalism and the need for us to have our own medium. When we lost Channel 28, for instance, as a community, we lost something very significant, and there was no remaining. And to see our elders like Harmon Carey and others and you coalesce and say, no, we're going to have a voice. And so when I see the shows and I hear Yorkie D and I hear Raheem Bey, and it just strengthens our faith in the fact that somebody recognizes, because all the way back to Jet Magazine, it was important to Black folk that we have a Ebony, that we have a Jet.
That's right.
And somehow this modern era, we've lost it,
or they've watered it down so much that it's hard. You've got to peel back the layers in order to find the truth. Well, here on Make Some Intelligent Noise, you can rest assured your bottom dollar. I'm going to give you factual and truthful information because I've taken a creed as a journalist to do that. If it's not truthful, if it's not factual information, feel free to check me or qualify me to that. But before I will get up here, I'm going to tell you what is really happening based on the information and the research that I have done. So, which is what leads me as a segue into our conversation. Pastor D, you have buried children. You have buried our young boys and perhaps our young girls. That's heartbreaking. Yeah. And I want to know why.
On the national news, if you'll recall, with the then chief of police, it wasn't Zerba, but when they did the embarrassing Wilmington Murder Town, USA, I was the only other person that they interviewed. CNN, they interviewed the chief of police and they interviewed me, and they made me starkly aware when I think it may have been what's the Black reporter on CNN when God he's I think he's off now, but when he said to me, Pastor D, you've preached 339 funerals of young African American men, it stabbed me into the reality of what you just said. I thought about the movie 300. I said maybe I ought to do a dive down on the 300, because that is in my city, in one city, not in 1 year, but in the span of being a pastor, a eulogist, to have eulogized 330 some of young men and women from your city who are connected to families you probably grew up with and what have you. That's quite significant. It gives you a lot of insight.
330 something too many. So perhaps you can enlighten us, if whatever way that you can, from the stories or the information that you have. Why 300 and something? What is happening? Why are our children killing each other? What's going on?
Well, let me say that there's more than that. Because I'm not the only one who's been preaching these funerals here in the city of Wilmington. So that's the number that so we're talking about a significant younger. And when you say why, it goes to causation. And then that goes to so many areas. Of course, as a pastor, why is answered spiritually. As a father of a young man, why it is a different answer for me. As an activist who works with gang violence and whatnot, I can tell you the why. It always goes to the root causes with the young people themselves. The why rests with them. It rests with their socialization.
What is that root cause? I mean, we understand that a lot of our young people are coming out of maybe not perfect homes, right? Mom and dad might be on something and other things. What's happening?
The root causes with the young people are, number one, social media.
Okay.
2, access to guns. And 3, now one might say, their parenting and education and all that should be first. No, I'm talking about cause.
Yes.
So it's, sorry, social media, access to guns, education failures, and then, you get to the social, the
psychology of it. So I just want to chime in and say, in no way at all am I throwing blame or shame on a particular parent or the parents of these children. I do believe that the mom and dad are the first teachers, but I'm not throwing a blame or shade onto the parents. But what I am saying is we also know it's factual that every child who gets up to go to school in the morning isn't, kissed on the cheek with, mom and dad and sisters and a white picket fence. Some kids don't eat. They haven't eaten the night before. They had to work, so they sleep. They're sleeping in classes because they didn't get any sleep the night before. So everything, all the dynamics from home may not be perfect. Right? And then they put on their gorilla suit in order to come outside and face this harsh and cruel world. And they can walk from their house to the bus stop and it can be drama. So that's what I know.
What I'm doing is answering your question. Here on this groundbreaking show, groundbreaking journalism response that will help us. Lots of journalists ask your question. Root cause. We have been taught in these meetings and what have you to immediately go to, I don't care what you say, it goes back to the parents. I want to suggest to you, public, if a person is asking about what is the root cause of 300 bodies, I'm going to tell you the root causes are too many guns in the hands of them kids. All right. The root causes are access. What did I say? Access to weapons.
Yes. Social media.
Social media.
And the miseducation of the Negro,
which is dictating the
the causes.
So you can't get to talking about the psyche of the child and what have you of the child until you deal with the reality of their activities. So rather than you throw the parents, or you say, well, the root cause is the parents, so throw money at programs for that, rather than, okay, the gun proliferation.
Hold that thought. We'll be back. This is going to get really good, so you don't want to go. We'll be right back with Pastor D.
Welcome to Show and Sell!
Do you have a business? Then you need exposure. You've tried word of mouth, you've paid for ads on social media. Now it's time to go to the next level and show and sell. Show and Sell TV, a newer, exciting shop at home from your couch experience.
Guys, come out with me and share, shop, and support on the CCC TV network, where I'm going to show and sell.
Thanks for staying with us. As we left, Pastor D was passionate about giving us the root causes of why our young people, not only in Wilmington, Delaware, but nationally, why are they killing each other? Why are they shooting each other? Certainly they're soldiers, but we're not going to throw the book at the parents. We're going to look at the other root causes. And you left off with saying the proliferation of guns coming into this nation.
Yeah. However, I was answering the root causes of the bodies, not the root causes of why they doing what they do, because that is a separate question.
Okay.
And I want the root causes of the body count is the gun proliferation. I left on gun proliferation. How does that translate into root cause? Take this most recent, most embarrassing weekend in Delaware that everybody's talking about in the news, Halloween weekend. 8 shooting sites, something like 9 shootings, 4 deaths. In each of these, we're talking about Wilmington, North Wilmington, in a geographical area from Vanderbilt Avenue to 30th Street. So we're talking about the same demographic, let's say 8 shooting sites, 4 deaths. I think something like 16 different guns. Now, None of these guns were mom and pop stolen old six shooters.
Right,
All
right.
of these automatic weapons, and two of the shootings, AR-15s and machine guns. Again, all in the same, in one weekend.
How are they getting here?
Exactly.
How are they getting these guns?
That's different. Now,
now that's a different question.
If we leave that community meeting saying, how did 8 different Negroes that they're all under the age of this that end up with these guns in this? Doesn't that tell us something? So if we jump on that, as opposed to jumping on the parent first, let's get to that. Let's get to why are they all in the same demographic area? Let's get to, because within all of that, is the root cause of the bodies we just counted.
So I feel on my particular end that it's a setup, it's a design. I mean, the guns aren't getting in here just, magically. They're being brought in by particular organizations and people, and they're given access to our children, which really is creating genocide, complete annihilation of a whole nationality of youth, young people, black, brown, and golden children killing one another. That's my 2 cents in that cookie jar.
So, and that is what a truth that is considered when we say that in the media. That's why this is a groundbreaking show, because Charlamagne and all of y'all get this from here. That is our, what they consider our conspiracy theory. Oh, they're saying that because, J. Edgar Hoover and COINTELPRO. But here's the truth and reality of what you've said that I've seen on the news recently. The week before the Halloween, what have you, if you'll recall, here on the news in the state of Delaware and across the country was the story of this young man who had driven a truck into the gun shop out here on 13 somewhere, driven through the wall and stolen all these guns. That day, Pastor Larry Mathis and I were together, and I jokingly said to Pastor Larry, I said, man, I think he said that's somebody white. And I said, and they getting ready to get sold in Wilmington, just like that. A few days later, the news came on. They had arrested the guy who had stolen the guns. He was a white guy, looked like a cowboy, and what have you, had his pickup truck full of stolen guns. But guess where he was? They arrested him in Wilmington, where I contend that he was going. That kind of thing is happening.
He was going to distribute those guns in Wilmington.
Sell them, I'm sure.
Sell them, distribute, sell.
So, and not just that scenario. Wilmington police and state police know about gun proliferation in Wilmington. They've even identified 95 over at 495 and what have you.
Where they're coming in from other bigger cities.
So there's work being done. However, we as a people don't have the consciousness of the situation I just described. That, again, 8 different shooting sites. This is the most armed generation in history. And the problem with us is we have not accepted that that's what's happening, or the problem with our schools. That's what's happening. You can't separate the opioid epidemic from school. You can't, because the major problem for them in school is kids smoking weed in school. So now we've come into a time where you can't have the opioid stuff going on over here and have no programming, etc., or available in middle school.
It's my understanding, and this is, okay, when I don't know something that it's not a fact, I will tell you it's just my opinion, or I've overheard it. And I have overheard in conversations that the newly renovated Maurice Pritchett Senior Academy, junior high school, absolute state-of-the-art building. We're not even into one full year of school yet, and there's writing on the walls, and they've torn down pictures and paintings and broken windows, which really is, if that's true, if that is the truth, That's very disappointing and very disheartening. What is going on with our
Well, if
middle
that's-
school children?
If that's true, it's something that's happened recently. I was just there for a program in which my son played drums, and Ray Avery and a number of
I love her, Ray Avery.
They were doing their thing, and I walked through the academy, and I didn't see any of that. Although that kind of thing could be taking place. That kind of vandalism is one of the things that the kids today do. And it's important that we recognize that if that happened, that's not a statement about where we are or aren't as a people. Vandalism is one of the things these kids do. I led a march, as you know, a few years ago downtown. I forget which one it was, one of the George Floyd marches or what have you. And Trippy and all of us, we led the march downtown to Rodney Square. And when we led the march to Rodney Square, our march got hijacked by kids. They took half of our march and went down Market Street and tore up Market Street.
Wow.
The next day.
They're traumatized. Governor John Carney has said that.
No, one of the things they do is vandalize. We need to accept. One of the things they do is show up at football games with their ski mat. They do their thing at football games. Yet we are surprised when they show up at Delaware State party and kill young kids. Now, my young son and I driving by Salesianum. Sally's. Go. I challenge all of your listeners, go past Sally's when they're having a football game. Let me tell you something. You got squad cars from the bridge to what have you. The route that the children have to walk. Going all the way up, almost
highly guarded.
You listen.
Security.
Now,
Wilmington police finest.
If any football games need that, I would think it would be ours.
Yes.
Because those are the ones where, but it is a statement that we understand the culture of our children's day. Mm-hmm. It's a reflection of Sally's gets millions and millions of dollars of support from, all of that.
Yes.
We have to.
But you look at Glasgow, and there are rumors. People under the current will say that Glasgow is the trash can, that they'll send all of the kids that couldn't make it in any other school. They'll send them out to the Glasgow as the trash receptacle for all the kids that won't make it, which is really, really pretty terrible. And I think Butch Ingram is doing a phenomenal job at Glasgow as their principal.
Okay. Well, the districts, and I'm hoping that these two new administrations, I'm sure that Matt Myers' administration, he's a teacher, I'm sure he's going
dedicated
on education.
Yes.
And former Governor Carney said a lot about education. We are in trouble. I would say 42% of my work in violence intervention, gun prevention, and intervention with kids in violence takes place in the middle schools.
That's so sad and disheartening. And we're going to come back in just a second and close and wrap this up. Stay with us for the closing. I'm Rochelle Wilson, Make Some Intelligent Noise. Joining me today, none other than Mr. Derek Johnson, Pastor D. We'll be right back.
Baby, listen, you never let a man put his hands on you. Do you hear me, baby?
Yeah.
Do you hear me? You gotta get them before they get you.
I'm gonna keep my eye on him, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch him.
Definitely keep your eye on him, honey. You better get him before he gets you.
Yeah.
Go cards on my idea.
Can you put your phone down? Can you put your phone down? Oh my God! Why do you keep picking up your phone? can't have you, nobody can.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Wilson. Join me at the CCC TV network for Talking with Rochelle. See you there. Thanks for staying with us for this very important conversation about gun violence for our black, brown, and golden, and all of the children, really, because it kind of leaks over. It overflows from one nationality to all children are affected. And we're talking about that today, gun violence in our nation, with none other than Pastor Derek Johnson. And so in our last few statements, what advice could you give us? What guidance or wisdom would you give all of us as adults that we can help our kids? How can we help them?
You know, the reality, sis, is that we right now have the resources, the power, the intelligence, the knowledge to help our young people to stem that. We really do. It's a lot of gifted people out there doing work. It's a lot of people that do what I do. We have that, except we do not have unity among one another to work together. These political races are killing us. I have hope that, for instance, in the Carney administration, the work in the gun violence area right now is critical in Wilmington.
Yes.
No matter who wins the race, there are thousands of people who were a part of Velda's campaign who would be and could be helpful in that situation.
Yes.
I know these people will not be hired. These people will not be. Why? Because of the way we are in Delaware in politics. We hate beyond the race. We can't, and nothing you do is going to be successful if you don't have that segment of the population on board. We in Delaware, here's a warning to the Democrats in Delaware.
Okay.
And this is what kept Kamala Harris from winning. We destroy ourselves from within by not being willing to work together beyond our own differences, personalities.
And that kind of leads into, if the kids see us fighting and grumbling amongst ourselves, we can't get along, where there's no unity,
they have no belief
then actually we're teaching that same thing to our children. They have no faith. So, it's got to change, and we certainly pray that it will. I can say that a former governor, now mayor, John Carney, will hire all of us, but we're going to still be boots on ground soldiers. That's not going to change, regardless of who's hired and who's not, because it's about saving the lives of our young people. I can't.
Hope. And not that we need to turn around and hide, but what we do need to do I've seen who some of his cabinet is, for instance. You have some great people on there that do this work, Brother Wolfie and people like this. So I've got the hope, or I have the faith that these things are going to be, and that there's going to be an expanding of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I certainly say that in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, y'all, we got it like, hey, y'all, kids are dying daily, and nobody has time for the negative
and the nonsense.
non-affirming nonsense.
Well, one thing that you said that I absolutely believe in, with Matt Meyer being a former teacher coming into now
Yeah.
the highest
Yeah.
position in the state of Delaware, we will see some changes. But I have to put it out to the audience. It starts with each and every one of us doing our part. I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you, and I'm asking, please come back. We'd love to have you come back and continue this conversation. Give us the update of what's going on. We'd just love to have you, and we thank you so much. God bless you. I'm Rochelle Wilson. Make some intelligent noise. The Justice Movement, the advocate for journalism, trying to get the word out there, fact-checking the word, and making sure that I bring it to you so that you know what's going on from a black, brown, and golden perspective, all right? Make some intelligent noise in collaboration with CCC TV. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Mwah. God loves you, and so do I.